It is now public and private. In the corporate press, we have stories from Politico. Ex-DNC Vice Chair Biden must be pushed to drop out. According to Tucker Carlson, Obama and other prominent Democrats behind the scenes are saying Biden must drop out. Bill Oreilly is reporting that the decision has already been made. They just don't know how to spin it yet. Might I offer a suggestion? Joe Biden stumbles on stage suffering a medical issue and Gavin Newsom runs out to save him. Just saying. Now, I'm going to go ahead and believe that, yes, Biden's out. I really do think so. Bill O'Reilly's got 2 tweets about it. I'm going to need a little bit more confirmation to say definitively, but the reason why I'm leaning towards it's likely the case, although what that probability may be, I don't know. It has to do with the New York Times pre-writing, or at least pre-preparing, an article calling for Joe Biden to quit and then only publishing it after the debate was over. Democrats behind the scenes knew full well that Joe Biden is gone. According to a report from Tucker Carlson, it is Jill Biden that is cloistering Joe away from everybody, running everything, pulling the strings, and making sure Joe does not step down. But when you watch these videos from the debate, there is nothing you can do anymore. Alex Jones has this video where after the debate, Donald Trump waves and just casually walks off the stage, just goes around the corner and goes backstage. Joe Biden, holding Jill's hand, struggles to walk zombie mode, can't bend his legs and sidesteps to walk down a single step. You watch this film and you're like, this guy's zombie hands, he's cornholio, he is gone. When you pull up a Google search, you see it across the board. Everyone saying Biden drop out. Now, I said back in November, I did not think Biden would be the candidate. I didn't see how. And they really, really pushed it, didn't they? I mean, it's July 1st. It's MAGA month, ladies and gentlemen. Happy MAGA month, by the way. 4th of July coming up. We'll be off, of course, Thursday and Friday to celebrate America. But they really pushed it. They pushed it as far as they could. And the question is why? Well, perhaps it's because if they swapped in, say, a Gretchen Whitmer or a Gavin Newsom, that would give the Republicans time to start doing opposition research. So the idea, I suppose, is drag this out as long as you can so that Republicans have no opportunity to say anything, to do any research, and you can throw in a Gretchen Whitmer or a Gavin Newsom at the last minute and say, he's better than Trump. I mean, the reality is, Trump is an old guy. He's an old guy, but he's spry. On stage, he had great answers. He did really, really well. We were all very excited for his performance. Joe Biden was completely gone. But right now, what are we seeing? The Democrats and the liberal personalities are loading up on why Trump is wrong, why Trump lied, and why Trump is bad. While at the same time saying, yes, Joe Biden is bad. He's not all there. Though there are some liberal personalities who are trying to argue for Joe Biden to stay. I think the play is this. I think when they swap in Newsom or Whitmer, whoever it may be, maybe Newsom, they are trying to poison the well. Trump bad for all these reasons. Then they bring in Gavin Newsom and there's no oppo research. There's no scandals. You get the point. The first thing I want to do, I don't want to read this tweet from, we'll read this story from Politico in a second. Head over to Timcast.com, click join us, become a member, support our work directly because, oh boy, it's election season and they will be coming after us the same as many other political channels. If you want to support our work, you think we do good work, Timcast.com, click join us, but also RNC 2024 Milwaukee live. If you want to hang out live and watch the show in a studio audience, go to Timcast.com, click that banner. But the first thing I want to read for you guys is this from Bill O'Reilly and then Tucker Carlson. Bill O'Reilly with no spin news coming out rather bluntly. I can't believe it, really. I mean, I mean that half literally. It's hard to believe this is true. O'Reilly says, here's a Biden update from BillO'Reilly.com news headquarters. The decision has been made that the president will quit the campaign. 2 reasons. Democrat internal polling says he cannot recover from the debate, and fundraising is drying up. So it's over for Joe. But the White House doesn't yet know how or when to make the announcement. Stay close. I do not believe Bill O'Reilly would report this willy-nilly. I think he's going to have some source behind him. That being said, whatever that source may be, I don't know. So I'm going to need a little bit. I will need a little bit more confirmation. I won't just come out and say BillO'Reilly.com confirms because, well, it's one guy. You know, usually when you get something as big as the New York Times or say the Wall Street Journal, that's a story that has gotten so big that it will be confirmed by campaign officials and other staffers. Bill O'Reilly saying this is interesting. I would say it's corroborated. I would say it makes sense, but we don't know for sure just yet. Tucker Carlson this early morning tweets out from an unusually good source. Obama's tweet supporting Joe Biden was disingenuous. In private, Obama is telling people Biden can't win, and he is therefore in favor of an open convention. Obama will not say whom he supports, nor as of yesterday afternoon had he met personally with Biden to deliver the message. Relations between the Obamas and the Bidens have never been warm. At times, they've been hostile. But recently, they've deteriorated further, mostly due to Jill Biden. In the hours and days after the debate, she kept her husband cloistered away from anyone who might convince him to drop out. Jill Biden is the driving force behind her husband's re-election campaign, just as she was in 2020, when other members of the family, including Biden's sister Val, considered him too impaired to run. The next generation of potential Democratic candidates understands all this as an opportunity, and they're circling, particularly Gretchen Whitmer, who is promoting herself aggressively. I think we have the Whitmer poll right here. They're actually polling. Trump beats Whitmer by 2 points in a new general election poll of likely voters. Why are they doing polls with Gretchen Whitmer? Well, my friends, you take a look at the polling after that debacle on the debate stage, and it is a disaster, an absolute disaster for the Democrats. Right now, the Real Clear Politics average has Donald Trump up 2 points in aggregate. 2 whole points in aggregate. That's amazing. And then we jump over here to the betting odds over at Real Clear Politics. Take a look at this. Biden's betting odds were already bad enough before the debate, with Biden sitting at around 34%, 35%, Trump's 51%. As of today, it would appear that Joe Biden is at 19.7%. Those are the betting odds. So this is a percentage out of 100. You've got BetOnline, Betfair, Bovada, Polymarket, Predicted, and Smarkets. Smarkets has him at 17. Betfair has him at 16. That's wild. And take a look at this. Not only is he not, his odds for the presidency are dropping, his odds for the Democratic nomination are dropping. Joe Biden, Predicted says, who will win the 2024 Democratic presidential nomination? Biden's at 61. That's absolutely nuts. I mean, you look at this. Donald Trump for the GOP is at 94 cents. Why? Well, because you have to have a rock bottom for the other no-names. Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Pompeo, and Mitt Romney are all at 1 cent. Look at you can't even buy no. It's not applicable. That's how low it is. Yeah, no way. Because that's free money. Here's how it works. If you buy at Predicted, one share of buy, see how it says buy yes and buy. This is really fascinating, actually. Okay, we can't log in. So if you click buy no for Ron DeSantis, it costs 99 cents. 99 cents, okay, for every share. If Ron DeSantis is not the nominee, you get $1. I mean, to me, that sounds kind of like free money, but I think there's like a commission or something, so you probably end up losing anyway. But think about that. If you buy yes for Donald Trump at 94 cents, you got a guaranteed 6 cents on the dollar. Who wouldn't take that? Donald Trump will be the nominee. As for the presidency, Joe Biden has bounced up from Predicted to 32, and I wonder if that's reflected in the betting average. No, they have him at 27. So he has improved a little bit since they started collecting those polls. Now, here's the fun part. You head over to 538. They got Donald Trump at 41.7 in aggregate to Biden's 40.4%. The reason that's wild is that 538 doesn't take some of the same polls RCP does, and they're more likely to favor the left. Let's roll, baby. Let's take a look at the aftermath of all of this. Big Fish says you can't make this stuff up. Look at this tweet. Anthony Scaramucci says, I went to President Biden's fundraiser in East Hampton, and I thought he did quite well reading the teleprompter today and meeting with people. However, that is not going to be enough to prove to the American people that he's up for another 4 years. Brian Stelter says he uses a teleprompter at a fundraiser? Yeah. It's funny. People thought Obama was the puppet. The puppet master, sorry. Maybe it was Joe Biden. Some people said that. Aaron Blake says CBS YouGov poll shows an even wider gap on who won the debate than the Snap polls. 56 for Trump. 16 for Biden. Take a look at this. Joe Biden, 16%. Trump at 56. What's fascinating is when you break down by demographic. When you take a look at under 30s, 23% think Joe Biden won. Wow. When you look at everyone older, it's all Trump. That's remarkable. Interestingly, when you look at white, black, and Hispanic, black voters overwhelmingly say Biden won, but that it was kind of a tie, so it's split between the two. Hispanic voters say it was a tie, but still think Donald Trump ended up winning. That I find absolutely fascinating. DNC host city's major newspaper calls second Biden term a ridiculous idea and urges him to drop out of the race. It is a ridiculous idea, and he should drop out of the race. I can't believe it's come this far. No, I got some stuff for you. Look, I could go through all these stories. Here's Google. Biden drop out. Politico. Biden must drop out. NDTV. Time for Joe to go. Fox News. DNC says no. It's ridiculous. CNN says Democrats fear replacement scenarios as much as keeping Biden. New York Times. Should Biden heed calls to drop out? ABC. Biden campaign argues president dropping out would lead to weeks. Weeks of what? All right, we'll click it. Would lead weeks of chaos. That's what I figured they were going to say. Yeah. Here we are. The whole news cycle is dominated by drop out Joe Biden. Well, what's fascinating is that Biden had a secret meeting. Look at this one from NBC News. It's a mess. Biden turns to family on his path forward after a disastrous debate. And you thought this was Joe Biden going to his family and saying, look, I'm a little tired here. Can't do it. And then we're going to say, you're right, Joe. You are old. You are tired. You can't do it. Nope. Other way around. Biden's family tells him to keep fighting as they huddle at Camp David. Well, Hunter Biden's like, Dad, I'm going to jail. You need to get me out of this. Jill's like, I will not go back to being nothing. I'm a doctor of education. Yeah, Dr. Jill. Ha, ha, ha. Remember when The View thought she was a real doctor, like a medical doctor? And then they were like, actually, she's barely a doctor as it is because she's like a doctor in education, which means nothing. Uh-oh. I want to show you this one. This one's really important. It's 6 minutes. I'm not going to play the full 6 minutes. Elon Musk highlighting this meme that almost the entire media repeated the same lie with the exact same words is disturbing. The legacy news is not merely fake, but also unoriginally fake. If you want to know the truth, it's on X. Listen to this. Whoa, let me make sure is the audio not
analytically is this version of Biden intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's smart. He's on his game.
His mental acuity is great.
This is a very sharp president.
And the people that I've talked to say he's as sharp as a tack. He's fine.
They say he's sharp.
There's not a problem.
He was sharp.
He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
The president is sharp and he is tireless.
He is sharp.
As sharp as...
It goes on like this for 6.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. 6.5 minutes of the media saying over and over again that Joe Biden is sharp and with it and he can do the job. They kept claiming it was a cheap fake. Here we go. National Review. Democrats can't cheap fake their way out of this. We post a video of what appears to be Joe Biden taking a dump on stage. And I say, I don't know if he actually is. Just looks like he is. Okay? I don't know. Maybe he didn't. I'm just saying. We got 1,000 of these videos and they go, that's a cheap fake. A cheap fake is when you take a video out of context. And no, turns out it was all in context. Now I ask you, dear viewers, after watching that debate, do you now understand why we think it's plausible dude may have taken a dump in his pants? I'm not trying to be mean to an old man, okay? But people over 80 have a very high rate of fecal incontinence. And we all watched that video, and we started thinking, like, 81-year-old man who struggles to walk, is it possible? Let's call it a 1 in 5 chance. And the media is like, cheap fake, that never happened. Well, I don't know for sure that it did. I think it's silly that we keep bringing it up, but we have to. It's an old man who can barely walk. Let me pull up another video for you guys. I got so many of these videos lined up. What do we have here? Polling data, that one's important. We'll pull that one up. Trump is currently up 5 points in a new general election poll. And we have this from Alex Jones. I'm going to play this video for you. It's a minute long. For those just listening, I'll describe it. And let's get that sound playing. There's no reason to play any sound. It's just Eye of the Tiger. But so after the debate, Donald Trump casually just walks off stage. He walks around the back and uneventful. Camera then pans to Joe, and I can't believe this is real. Honestly, I can't believe it. Jill holding Joe's hand, and Joe cannot bend his legs to get down a single step. He has to do a side step. He can't bend his hips. His hands in cornholio mode. He's demented. He is demented. Okay, I'm not saying that as an insult. Like, I'm saying literally he is suffering from dementia. And it is clear, and it is right in front of our eyes. So I don't know what to tell you, man. This is where we are currently at. You've got more of these videos. You've got this poll. I'll play this polling video. CNN freaking out. This is amazing. And I will stress, when you watch an 80-year-old man whose hands are locked like this, like claws, did you see his hands? Locked like claws, sticking in front of him, and he can't bend his hips to walk down a single step. And then someone says, I think that guy may crapped his pants when he squatted down like that. I'd be like, oh, that guy? Yeah, that guy should be in hospice. I don't know what they're doing. There's this Axios article where they're like, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., he is dependably engaged. He's sleeping. He's sleeping. That's it. And they have him wait for a couple hours to do press stuff. Then he goes back to sleep. Old Grandpa Joe is gone, man. He's gone. And we can all see it. The funny thing is the media pulled that lie where they're like, he's sharp as a tack. Spare me, dude. Here we go. I hope you guys are ready for this one. This one's good because this is...
For President Biden post-debate?
We do. You know, CBS News YouGov conducted some polling post-debate. We can compare it to the pre-debate numbers. And the bottom line, Al, it's not any good. It's not any good. Look at this. Voters who say that Biden has the mental health to be president. It was just 35% pre-debate. Look where it's dropped to now post-debate, 27%. How about that he should be running for president? It was 37% pre-debate. It's now 28%. I have never seen numbers this bad for an incumbent president during my lifetime. I mean, that mental health to be president, just 27%. You might say, okay, you know, that's low, but a lot of people thought Biden was too old back in 2020. These numbers look nothing like this back in 2020. These numbers were bad already. And the truth is, Allison, they have gotten just considerably worse, even in just a few days after that first presidential debate.
Do we have new poll numbers for President Biden?
And that's just a loop. That's just a loop. So I just got to show you that again. I mean, look how incredible this is. I feel bad for the 35%. I feel bad for the 27%. I mean, wow. You know, I have conversations every day with friends and family. And there's a lot of people who really do live in CBS world. Oh, my favorite was this weekend. Some family reached out to me and they were like, did you hear that the Supreme Court just legalized bribery? And I was like, heavens me, what? That's right, the Snyder ruling. That if you receive money after an official act, it's not a bribe. It's a gratuity. Therefore, bribery is legal. And I said, I kind of think that's probably wrong. And I'm going to read it. And so I read the Supreme Court opinion on Snyder. And then I sent it to my family and they went, oh, okay, now I get it. Yeah, they did not legalize bribery. And so this past weekend, I'm hanging out at the old poker tables. And there's a kindly old feller sitting next to me. And after winning a hand of poker, he makes a joke that he's going to need this money for when he gets pulled over. And he can tell the officer, hey, don't give me a ticket. And then after he doesn't give him a ticket, he'll give him a tip. Because the Supreme Court legalized bribery. And I said, that sounds like something CNN or MSNBC reported. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And then, the other guys at the table, they know who I am. And I was like, that's not what the ruling does. That's not what the ruling said. I'll break it down for you. Long story short. And I'm really just paraphrasing and probably oversimplifying. But the general idea was a guy awarded some contracts as mayor. Several years later, he got paid by that same company, claimed he was consulting. The Fed said it was an illegal gratuity and charged him under the bribery statute. The Supreme Court said, whoa, guys, you have to charge him for gratuity, not bribery. Overturned. If you don't charge them properly, people will start claiming that these aren't bribes, they're gratuities. You get the point? Okay, so basically, gratuities are illegal, okay? Not all of them. The point made, I think it was Kavanaugh who wrote this, is that if someone, I shouldn't say I, but if someone goes to a public official and says, hey, hook me up, maybe down the road I'll do a favor for you, wink, wink. This now sets the stage for what's called illegal gratuity, illicit gratuity. So the mayor says, we need to order some, concrete, we need to build a building. And the contractor says, you award us this contract and maybe in a couple of years we'll get a job for you after you're out of office. That's it. That's what makes it an illegal gratuity, because they're two different words describing the same thing. Promise of reward in exchange for an official act. Bribery is when the money comes first. Gratuity is when the money comes second. And so I'll wrap this up, but this is where it comes down to the 27%. This guy said, I was like, it sounds like something CNN or MSNBC reported. And he was like, well, I just heard the Democrats were saying something. And I'm like, exactly. The general idea is actually simple. If someone commits illegal gratuity, meaning a guy goes to you and says, do this thing for me, I'll hook you up later. It's functionally the same thing, but they're defined differently, because gratuity is actually allowed. If gratuity wasn't allowed, you couldn't donate to anyone's campaign. Hey, that guy voted in favor of a bill that benefits my company. I want him to get reelected. I'm going to start giving him money and things like that. No, that's illegal. Oh, come on. No, what's illegal is to go to him specifically and say, do this and I'll make it worth your while. Handing money up front is a bribe. Afterwards is an illegal gratuity. But these people think the wrong thing. And then the idea is the corporate press is trying to attack a conservative Supreme Court to delegitimize them. And I'm just like, they gave their opinions on it. The ruling for the opinion from Kavanaugh actually breaks down that gratuity can be illegal already, and the feds just charged the guy to the wrong crime. So if the feds come to someone and say, you committed a crime of bribery, but they actually committed gratuity, they'll say, nope, not a bribe. The money came after. And that is legally distinct. You have to charge them with gratuity, so they can't do that. Like, it's remarkable. That's the 27%. The people who fall for what the corporate press keeps saying. Now, to be fair, CNN is calling this out. I'll give it to them. They've been trying. But there are so many people who watch MSNBC who think Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. He ain't. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot more coming up for you today. It is plain as day. It's over for Biden. Now, for me, I'm a Biden supporter. I think Joe Biden should be the nominee. We must stand behind Joe Biden and say, you can do it, Joe. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see y'all then.